Look at any elite athlete while they train. They're not constantly looking at their phone, following some copy and paste program, seeing what next movement they have to do, constantly waiting for their set timer to be up, and yet they're the ones selling the programs. Interesting, isn't it? Because nobody talks about the one skill that will get you farther in calisthenics, farther than any copy and paste program can ever get you: training with intuition. Because the internet has turned us athletes into addicts, constantly looking for the next quick fix. Constant dopamine hits with these new routines, new movements, new progressions that you've probably never even heard of. All these internet follow-along workouts, all of these different training routines that are being advertised by all of these so-called advanced athletes and creators. But the thing is that a program doesn't know how much you slept last night. A program doesn't know how tall you are. A program doesn't know how well you stuck to your diet this week. And yet you still tick all of the boxes just to stay in line with the program, even though your body is telling you no. But this creator, they told me that it worked for them. Hate to burst your bubble, but that's probably not the program they used. If it was the program they used, it's probably not going to work for you. I have tried the bodybuilding programs, the street lifting programs, the skill training programs. It was either too much or too little for my body. I was either absolutely cooked halfway through the workout and then tortured myself the second half because I needed to tick all of the boxes, or it felt like a complete waste of time and felt like it was belittling my current progress and skill level. And worst of all, training felt like a to-do list. All of these numbers, set counts, rep counts, specific rest timers for every movement. I was ignoring the most sophisticated feedback system you will ever encounter: your own body. And then once I completely switched to skill-focused training, I decided to make my own training routine from scratch. I'd noted down set numbers, I'd noted down rep numbers, hold times, specific rest timers. I had used all of these previous programs and prior knowledge to create my own sort of rookie program. However, sticking to this program by the letter didn't last very long, because like I said before, a program doesn't know how much you slept last night, how well you ate, how particularly motivated you are that day. So I would deviate from the program constantly as to not let my ego get in the way. So whenever I didn't feel well, I would do an easier progression and just try to focus on form. I would do shorter sets, but more sets. Because if you stick to this mindset of, I should be able to do this, who says what you should or shouldn't be able to do? Calisthenics is mastering your own body, not someone else's. And a big difference between calisthenics and weightlifting is that your body is constantly changing, so why shouldn't your workouts? And that's when I saw a video very similar to this one. I decided, screw it, I was just going to freeball my training. At first, I stayed relatively close to my original routine because, frankly, I had no idea what I was doing. Listening to my body, never heard of it. I've always had a set timer with me. But slowly, I began cutting out my set timer. I began to notice with this new acute awareness of my body and how it's performing during the workout, I could easily find where I was struggling and hone in on it. Isolate it. Essentially turning up the volume to the senses that you already have. And last, but probably the most important factor of this all, I loved calisthenics again. I got the thrill of being able to move my body around in space again without somebody telling me what to do and how to do it. I was learning to master my body, and my ego doesn't suffer if I have to deviate from the routine, because the whole routine is feeling. Now, I'm not saying that programs are inherently bad, because I most likely wouldn't be where I am today if it weren't for them. It's these programs that gave me all of these different structuring methods and introduced me to these movements and progressions and how to actually implement them. So when creating your own routine, use these and your prior knowledge to create a sort of structure around your training, and then just feel it. If the movements that you have chosen are too hard, dial it down a little bit. Make sure you can perform it with safe form. If it's too easy and you've pretty much perfected the form, increase the difficulty a little bit. This is how you grow. In the beginner steps, while you're still training to gain the fundamental strength in your basic movements, it is okay to copy and paste these different workouts, because training for the fundamentals is pretty indifferent to any other method to training for the fundamentals. In fact, check out this video if you haven't already. But other than that, your skill training, this means your straight arm statics. This should be on feeling, intuition, because calisthenics is the mastery of your own body, not someone else's. So be flexible. Change your routine based on how you're feeling that day. If you didn't get a lot of sleep, you should probably dial it down a little bit. If you're feeling particularly motivated, either you saw a video, you're just feeling really great today, or you probably had a pre-workout, you could probably go a little more intense to try to get a little more volume or a little more experience in the next progression that you're working on. And even if you do have to dial it down, understand that it is all a part of the process, but also understand that you still have to do the work. Next, you must understand the difference between strength training and skill training. If you guys would like a more in-depth video on that, you could leave a comment down below and I will for sure make one of those. This skill is hard to come by, and for good reason, because no one wants you to find this out. No big creator is going to tell you that they'd rather you get off the platform and go train than watch more of their videos, because this makes you independent. This means that they can't sell their product, whether or not that's their new hot app or all of these different training routines that they've never even tried in their life, but they're telling you, trust me bro, it works. And if you decide to get yourself a coach, a personal coach, make sure that they not only tell you what to do, but they teach you. Not just tell you what to do, when to do it, exactly how to do it, but why you're doing it. And it's this thorough understanding of the why that leads to the knowledge capable of leading to bodyweight mastery. And remember, gravity is just a guideline. See you next time.